Hey, this is Bully by Black Pistol Fire. Great song. They finished their set list with Bully at the concert that we saw at the beginning of August. And so it's a great song, and boy did they perform it. Man, oh man, they performed the living daylights out of it. So, here's how you play this song. We're going to start with our finger on the 7th fret of the A string, and then our pinky is going to be on the 8th fret of the B string. Now that is just the skeleton of what is really an E minor chord. You would normally build it with all your fingers and go on the 9th frets of the D and G string, but we're just going to be plucking those two that I mentioned there, the 7th of the A and the 8th of the B. Okay, you're going to hit that A string first and then hit them both. And then you're going to slide down, and don't forget I'm using my pinky. You can use whichever fingers are most comfortable for you. I like that because then when I go down to this next chord, it's a little bit easier to spread those fingers there. So 7 and 8 on the A and B respectively. And then you drop down to the 5th of the A and then the 7th of the B. That would be a D major chord right there, or the partial makings of a D major chord. And then I just pluck those open strings there. That would be your D and G string. Then you do a very similar pattern up here on the 12th fret of the A, 13th fret of the B. And then you pluck those, go down to the 10 of the A, 12 of the B. So far we've got this. Oops, we've got this. Now we go to a C major. And by the way, this up here, that would be, you could probably figure that out. That's an A minor, and that's the makings of a G major. Okay? So again, just the partial strings, and then you're hitting the open D and G strings just a little bit. You're just suggesting them throughout this finger work here. So now that C major is 3rd fret of the A string and the 5th fret of the B string. And by the way, it's the only two fingers so far, the only two strings so far that we're fingering is the A string and the B string. The other two are just open, and it's just mostly knowing where to put those, your index finger and your pinky finger. So that C major is the last one. Well, it's the penultimate, the next to last one before we get to the B7. So you're going to pluck that. Let me build up to it again. So I pluck those two together, the A and the B strings, and then just kind of, you know, it's almost a little bit instinctive instead of knowing or plotting out exactly which strings you're hitting. You're just kind of, you know, arpeggiating those strings there. And then the very last chord is going to be a B7, which is A string 2nd fret, D string 1st fret, G string 2nd fret, and then the E string 2nd fret. Okay, so that's a little one. I had to kind of train myself to get into that so quickly from this to this. In fact, your pinky can be the last thing you put into place. If you can get those 3 fingers up there on the A, D, and G string, if you can get those relatively quickly in place, by the time you're ready to pluck that E string, gives you a little bit of time to get it into place. So, we've got something like this. I'm going A, D, G, so I'm kind of just going down the line there, and then you hit that E string. I think I go back to the G string right before we start that run over. If you can get up to that A string 7th fret, and if every time you can hit that singularly, just hit it one time before you go You only do it on the 7 and the 3. The other times it's pretty much at the same time, concomitantly. And then right before it goes to the chorus, he gets to that B7 and he just strums it once and says, "I like it when you play too rough." And then it goes to some fuzz. I'll do it for just a little bit. So that is open E string up to the 8th fret of the E string, 5th fret, 7, 5, 3, open, 7, 5, 3, open. Notice he kind of will hit it and then hit it again right before he goes to the next note. Except for the rundown 5-3 or 7-5-3 open. Okay, and then it goes back to that, and then it goes to the chorus one more time. Okay, let's work on the bridge now. That's the part where he goes. Okay, so that is a C major bar chord, which looks like this. An A minor bar chord. Looks like this. So it's essentially the same, just lift up your ring finger. And then you've got a E minor bar chord, which the song is in E minor. Oh, oh, baby, not so fast, how quickly forget, put it in the past. So middle fingers down, middle fingers up, middle fingers down. So the C chord is down, A minor is up, and the E minor is back down because of that wonky B string. So there you go. And then it goes back to, well, it doesn't go back to, but it does go to a D major chord right there, which looks like this. And then back to the A minor, and then it goes to a B power chord, and then it rips into the guitar solo, and it sounds something like this. Okay, so I'm going to turn my dirty on now that my fuzz is off so you can hear it a little bit better. So that beginning is 12th fret of the B string, 14th fret of the G string. You're going to bend up the G string. So you'll down pick as you're stretching up, and then an up pick and hit both the B and the G strings. So you're kind of relaxing, you'll bend that G up and then relax it down a little bit. And you do that 4 times, and then it ends on the 15 of the B. So just make sure you're giving that some attitude and some inflection, and just listen to Kevin's performance. Maybe watch some of the YouTube videos of him playing that song and just kind of watch how he's bending. And again, just listen to it. And what sounds good is what you want to do. And then it goes to the second half of the solo, which uses the whammy pedal. And so you'll hit the 15 of the B, you'll hit it dry, and then you'll hammer onto that whammy pedal. And then you'll hammer up to the 17, back to the 15. And then you hit the 16 of the G string twice. I don't really hit it twice. I hammer on once and then I hit it once with the pick. So there's a little bit of a rhythm to that. It took me a minute to get it, but you hit the B dry on the 15, and then you hammer, I say hammer on, I mean you hit the pedal, and then you hammer onto the 17. Then you hit the 16 of the G twice, 15 of the B once, back to the 16 of the G, 14 of the G, back to 16 of the G. And then after you do that section, you let your foot off of the whammy pedal, you hit the 15 of the B again and do the same thing. You hammer up. In the studio, you don't actually hear him do that acceleration again with the whammy pedal, but just for rhythm, I do it every time. It's the same the second time through, only instead of after the 14 of the G, instead of going back up to the 16 of the G, you go to the 12 of the G and then 14 of the D. So it's not that hard of a solo if you don't have a whammy pedal. This is one guitar solo that the life of it is really that whammy pedal. And with that and a fuzz pedal cranked up, sounds really, really awesome. And it makes you sound like a rock and roll star. So if you don't have a whammy pedal, you can do something, same notes. You could try to do it all up here, but you kind of run out of strings and it's a little bit clumsy up there. So I'm just hitting that 15 twice instead of, because that whammy pedal, when you smash it down, it kind of creates another note, another tone. You're going to do that with your pick. Make sure you give those notes during that the chorus. Give it some vibrato as you're singing along with that. Like it when you play too rough. Tell me when you've had enough. And then it just ends right there. Maybe I didn't say that earlier. The lyrics ends on that B right before it goes back into. Well, that's it. Bully. I feel a little beat up. That was a tough one. But I enjoyed learning that one, and I also enjoyed explaining it in my video. So if you're a Black Pistol Fire fan, which I certainly hope that you are, you can now play Bully. You have to work at it and get that technique down using the whammy pedal and just some of Kevin's unique style. And man, I love that guy. He is quite the performer, songwriter. Love his lyrics. Love the way he handles that guitar. He's a unique bird in the flock. So check him out if you haven't already. That's it, friends. Over and out from my easy chair.